You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Orange is the New Black After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Orange is the New Black After Show.
Cages fall. Dance.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the 5th episode of Orange is the New Black, exclusive series by Netflix. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today is...
Me, Megan Thomas, also known as @MegScoop on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Hi guys, it's Emma Kay. Oh, we gotta cut back on the caffeine.
I know, right?
What's up, everyone? I'm Scott Moore.
Yeah, you kept it simple. I was expecting another 10 seconds of intro from yourself, Scott. Anyway, so...
Cut right to it.
Yeah, let's cut right to it. This episode, episode 5, The Chickening, was a very interesting episode. I have 3 questions for this episode. This episode, the first one is well, this is a 2-part first question. Is the chicken just a figment of Piper's imagination? And if so, what does the chicken represent? That's the first one. The second one is, was Larry lying to Piper about Alex a good thing? And the third question is Bennett an idiot or is Bennett an idiot?
Oh, that's so wrong.
Aww.
Poor Bennett. Oh, I feel sorry for the CEO with the half a leg. Okay, anyway, so let's talk about Piper seeing this chicken. Let's start off with that. So is this chicken, like, is she imagining this thing?
You're really good at that.
Yeah, he told us on Twitter he was going to do that. He said, I'm ready to do my chicken
That was
imitation.
my answer.
My chicken impersonation.
No, I think it's real only because other people have seen it and other people have mentioned it.
Right.
That's why I think it's real.
I think it was real in the beginning, but then she starts imagining the chicken because now she knows what it represents and she wants to be the one to catch it so badly that I think it starts playing mind games with her.
What does the chicken represent? I started looking at it. I had to watch this episode, I watched it twice. Just because there seems like there's a lot of symbolism going on as far as this chicken is concerned.
Oh, yeah.
And at first I just looked at it, the first episode, the first time I saw it, it was like, it's just a chicken. Okay, she saw a chicken. Big deal. She saw a chicken. But everybody is freaking out over this chicken. I started noticing things the second time I watched the episode that I didn't catch the first time. Like certain reactions in the background, that people were making just regarding the subject of this chicken.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what does this mean? And, when she first mentions it, it was like the room went
Quiet.
dead silent. And it was like, go talk to Red. Go talk to Red.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So...
I mean, I think one of the things that the chicken represents, obviously, is, in Red's case, is there's a strength that some of these women wish they had. And, you need strength to fight every day to live behind bars with these women. It takes a lot out of you emotionally and physically. And so I think that's one of the reasons for, at least for Red, this chicken is a strong chicken. It came, it escaped, and it represents freedom as well. We see, especially at the end, when we see Piper and we see that the chicken has crossed the fence to get to the other side.
Right.
And it didn't fly. So I think it's like a freedom metaphor as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I took as a freedom. It symbolized hope. Kind of made them think of things, because it represented things that they were longing for. Like they had mentioned, not even just the food from the chicken, but being able to bring things,
Heroin.
Yes, exactly. Like it represented things that they had longed for that they missed out on, and so I think it represented all those and more.
I think it's very interesting how everybody grouped up to find this chicken within their respective ethnic groups.
That's how prison is. You stay in their packs.
Right. But it was really like interesting how everybody had, and we'll see later, not to give spoilers for episode 6, but it was just funny how these perceptions came out. Like what Red was saying, she was saying they have dogs and there's heroin up, in the chicken. Someone said, I heard there was a gun in the chicken. The blacks want the chicken. He said, why? Because black people like chicken? And she's like, no, that's
like heroin.
That's racist.
Like,
It's like, no, because they like heroin. Like she substituted one racist comment stereotype for another one, which was really funny.
Right.
And then then she mentioned the Spanish people that was like, no, they're not going to eat the chicken. They're going to do something superstitious, like cut his head off and drink the blood. And then she said, all I want to do is eat the chicken and absorb its power. So she said something else superstitious, trying to, she replaced her own superstition with somebody else's superstition. It was just, I think the writers they're really brilliant in how there's so much the play on words and the play on stereotypes and race.
Right.
It's so smack in it's like a slap in the face, but it's so real at the same time because it really is kind of how people see things and perceive things, and it's really kind of like everybody's having the same problems, but they're all looking at things in a different way towards the same thing, but wanting the same results, so to speak. So that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I find.
And to me, also the chicken, it shows how much prison is like high school. Like at the end of the day, like you only care about what's going on. You get, in high school, you get mad. Oh my gosh, that's her boyfriend. That's her girl. That's his girlfriend. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like you're so caught up in this little world that honestly nobody else cares about. Right. And so it's the same thing. It makes everybody go insane. The fact that there's this chicken, they're running around. We got to find this chicken. I mean, it shows that it's just like high school. And
it's funny because it's like they want to make it seem like she made this up. And she hasn't even been there but 2 seconds.
I know, right?
Like, how would I know there's anything special or important about seeing a chicken? Like, why would I make this up? I saw a chicken. Do you think there's any symbolism with the chicken being red? Is that what you were talking about earlier, the chicken being red?
Oh, no. Well, I didn't say that, but I can see that now.
For some reason, I think they mentioned something about the chicken being red, and there's association with the chicken being red, and then red being red, of course.
Yeah.
Having red hair, there was some kind of symbolism with that.
Well, if you look at the scene where Piper is giving Red advice and trying to encourage her to keep on looking for the chicken, the way Red kind of like gets in this whole character, she looks like she was like the chicken, like, getting in her flesh and in herself to, go out and look for it. So if you go back and look at it, she looks exactly like the chicken, like sticking the head out and getting the body up.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
One thing that I did not like, though, for this episode is how Piper was able to psychologically manipulate Red into running after this chicken. That, to me, it was funny.
She's getting it.
It was funny, but it didn't ring true for me for that character. For me.
I feel like it does because she's now learning that she has to, in order to survive, she can't just sit back because she sees that she still gets sucked in because other people will bring her name into stuff. So she's kind of like playing the system now. Now she's like, okay, well, you know what? No, that chicken, you go get that. You know what I'm saying? Like she's learning how to be a manipulator like everyone else, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. Because it's we love Piper, we love her innocence, but she's also, I guess she's maturing in her prison life.
And, she's learning how to play the game.
Right.
She's learning what she needs to do to get by.
Exactly.
And this was one step.
Even Red, I mean, if you look at her character with the backstories that we get and the flashbacks that they show, she's not that strong. It's just an image and that she's put on being in prison, and it just so happened that she runs the kitchen and everyone has to respect the kitchen or else you don't get served your food. But I don't think she's strong, so it's not that difficult for Piper to manipulate her.
Okay.
And you know what else I noticed about this episode? Since we're talking about stereotypes, this made me remember that how Piper doesn't get any disciplinary action because of her alleged role in the whole chicken situation.
Right.
And Poussey gets mad because she's like, "Oh, I don't get visitation, but what did you get?"
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I get my visitation revoked for a week.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of
That's right.
So, Healy, he likes Piper. Obviously, he's trying to like, establish some kind of bond with her, some kind of like we're similar, we're the same, we're cut from the same cloth kind of thing. But if he continues this level of favoritism, he's going to isolate her and put her in jeopardy and put her in danger.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So that's not going to be in her best interest either. So he's going to have to like play and balance that,
Right.
That situation. I don't know.
I don't know, but is he? Is he going to be able to do that?
Right. I don't know because she has to sleep there.
Right.
Let's talk about the opening scene with Nikki and Morello in the chapel.
I love those two. They're hilarious.
They go in a hell in a handbasket. I'm telling you.
in the
Gasoline
chapel.
That's what I'm saying.
In the chapel, people? In the chapel.
Next to the organ.
Really? Oh, was that symbolic? The organ?
Perhaps.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But Nikki made some funny comments while they were doing their thing, and she's like, "Okay, I don't want to be." What did she say? I don't want to be asymmetrical because she's putting in work on Morello, and then she's like, and then what was really funny is how Morello responds, and she's like, "Okay, she's like, well, this is the last time. We're not going to be doing this anymore." I guess she's like, she wants to tighten her stuff up for her fiance.
Right.
And I'm like thinking, I think you have a couple of more years to go.
Right?
It's 30-some months.
You have enough time.
Right. Yeah, she's like, got 13 months.
What? You got time.
She's like,
That's why Nikki says he must
said it
have
stretches.
something very small.
Right.
Right, it's like a hot dog in the hallway.
The hot dog in the hallway.
Right.
That's right.
That was really funny. But it's like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, okay, cool. She's like, okay, whatever. Okay, now get me. Take care of me. She's like, no, that's,
Right.
She looks at her like,
Are you serious?
She's like, that's just not classy. And it's like, really? And hooking up in the chapel is classy? Like, all this like behavior is classy. That was really funny. Like, Morello has got, I don't know, there's like a screw loose. What's really funny about her is that, okay, we see Larry. We don't, does she have anybody coming to visit her? Is this Chris
came
guy?
the first week she was there, the first couple.
Morello.
Yeah, and then he hasn't shown, Christopher hasn't shown up afterwards.
Okay. Because it's almost like she's living in a fantasy. Like how
Right.
she talks. Like how her tone and her approach to her fiance and this wedding and all this. It's like, it's so fantastic. It's
Right.
it's like, is this real? So that's why I don't
Exactly.
remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember the fiance even coming.
Well,
the first episode.
we haven't seen it, but Nikki mentions, that he came the first week
Yeah,
or
we
two,
didn't
and then
see
he
him, right?
hasn't.
Yeah.
Remember how they had an argument in the bunk beds when she's talking about Bora Bora Bora, and
Yeah, because there's 3.
and Nikki's, telling her like, "You're planning your wedding. I'm so tired of this." When he hasn't even shown up, he only showed up the first week you were here, so he's
Right.
obviously showed up to see her for
Right.
a visitation, but I guess
It was before we were there,
Before we-
basically.
before we-
yeah,
exactly.
that's what I thought.
started.
Yeah, so we haven't actually seen him.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the deal with Morello. So they're hiding out in the church under the altar, I guess, so they don't get busted or whatever. And I guess the chaplain comes in, and with the nun in Pennsatucky. So they can kind of orchestrate who gets what time in the chapel. So now you have the writers talking about kind of religious rights and religious freedom or
Right.
whatnot. And I think that's great how they touch upon these, sexuality, religion, ethnic, everything. They're covering all their bases. But this thing with how Pennsatucky is like, which wing is it? She is like so far like.
Is she?
She's kinda
is she
like-
like the others? Because there was like they said.
The categories?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
category
I
was
think
kind of like whatever, like an other type of category.
No, she's under white.
No. It's religiously, because remember they go through when we hear the announcement. What are they? They said like the Catholics, the Wiccans, the the Jews. They like go through everything, and then I was trying to figure out like which category does she fall under religiously? Because she's a little extreme, so I guess.
Well, I think she's a Christian.
Christian.
I know, but I took that just because. I mean, technically the Catholics are Christian too, so I was like, and she's extreme, so that's why I was like, okay, maybe she's in the other category, which is like non-denominational or something. I don't know, but they named them.
I thought I understood that she was Christian, maybe.
Yeah,
but they didn't say it, so I just interpreted that she was.
She's just
born again.
She is. She's just definitely like super.
She's special,
conservative, cult-like.
She is special. I mean, so she hangs the cross up.
But before she gets there,
I mean, recipe for disaster. Go ahead.
Before she gets there, I'm like, you call yourself, religious. You're calling the nun,
Right.
Pope's bitch.
The Pope's bitch.
Right.
Who does that?
I like to think of myself as the Pope's homie.
Right. That's so funny.
That was a nice little comeback.
I love the nun.
And she said it all calm and
right.
the Pope's homie.
I'm just like, how does this girl represent, faith to begin with?
I think that's why they don't take her seriously, and why they're just like, you can't put your little wooden cross up, sorry, on the wall,
glow
whatever.
in the dark.
Yeah, like they don't. I guess that's why they just don't give her the respect, because they're like, religiously, you're kind of all over the place. You really don't know what you believe, and we don't believe you, so you don't get to put your little wooden cross up. Sorry.
Well, I think it probably has something to do with the fact that they view her as extreme.
Yeah.
So it's like actually practicing is like imposing upon other faiths. And it's like that's not.
But
it's actually the opposite of tolerance, I guess. Like I think like part of the basis of a lot of faiths has to do with tolerance. And she's actually not tolerant.
Well, yeah, that's what they were saying, like blatantly putting that up there and not having to take it down for the other faiths.
Right.
And all her followers are exactly like her. Like,
yeah,
they look like her too, which is weird.
Yeah,
right.
They're all, yeah.
I still can't get over their teeth, but.
Yeah, okay. The stereotypical hillbilly-ish,
right.
in the backwoods redneck, yeah. Pennsatucky. Hence her name.
Pennsatucky.
Yes. And so it's funny how they put the cross up anyway, which is smart. She said we couldn't put it on the wall. She said we could put it on the wall, but she didn't say nothing about hanging it.
Right.
Right. Right? You're right, Pennsatucky. Right. You're so correct. She didn't say anything about hanging it. But the amount of damage and carnage that I didn't realize all of that. I thought it's just gonna fall. As Sophia's like, it's not a load bearing
pipe.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, the pipe's gonna break. So then when the pipe breaks and then the whole entire wall comes down, I was like, oh, whoa, it's serious.
But I love the scene where she's talking about the Third Amendment and
yeah.
She said, she said, I have practiced my Third Amendment. She says, you may not. What did she say? A soldier doesn't have the right for quarters. Staying in some quarters. It's some kind of military like amendment or something. And she's like, what are you? How is this applied to? She's just, oh my gosh, you are so stupid.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know off the top of my head. I can't lie. I didn't know the top of my head what the Third Amendment was.
No, I wouldn't either. But
I did know it had nothing to do with that. I did know that. So, Pennsatucky, yeah. And I think it was not even a pipe. I think it was like track lighting or something like that. It wasn't a pipe. It wasn't even like a pipe. It was like, yeah. She was like, that's not a load-bearing pipe. She said, how do you know it's not a load-bearing pipe? I just told you. So Sophia was like,
former fireman.
I know.
Exactly.
I was a man.
I used to be a man. Don't forget that.
Right.
Now I do hair.
I was say it was a fireman too,
right.
That dealt with all that and structures. And
now I'm a cosmetologist.
But do they know her background? Do they know her story?
I don't think some people do, but probably not most people.
They all know she used to be a man.
Yeah, I think that's the extent of it. But I also think it's funny how Pennsatucky, and this just goes to show how some people are so, which is true. Some people, especially like some conservative religious people, are very intolerant of other people, and so you see that when Pennsatucky blames this incident on the fact that Sophia is there and is like, this is God punishing us for
the abomination.
Yeah, she's the abomination.
Like, wow,
the man something. She said the man something.
Right, like how mean are you to say something like that?
I think she's just extreme.
Well, she did. Wasn't she one that was calling her it at one point too? And they're talking about it. I'm like, oh.
She is extreme.
Yeah.
She's very extreme, which I think is a great character, entertainment-wise.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's really funny. In talking about Sophia, now Sophia, she's having issues with getting her estrogen. So she is befriending the nun.
Because the nun gets
The
estrogen.
nun gets
I know tabs.
the gyno tabs. Is that something real or is that something they made up for the show?
I think I've never
Sure,
heard of
it's
it.
got to be something real if you're going through.
Yeah, I think I think the
menopause.
name though probably
Yeah.
is not real just because of licensing purposes, But I think that there are definitely estrogen pills that women take to help alleviate some of the pressures of menopause. And I think it's funny though how the nun knows, how the sister knows. That's exactly why Sophia wants to talk to her.
Yeah, she was smart. She knew.
But and that's why I love the nun. I love sister.
But it
because
was too clingy. Like, she's like, can I come with you to get your hat? Like, really?
Right.
and
You don't hang out with her. You want to go with her to
Yeah,
get her hat
it
now?
was obvious, but still, I was impressed that the sister would know, even think about that.
right, and she.
Well,
and she
it's a small place. Rumor goes around fast.
Very true. But she knows exactly why, Sophia wants to come, and even more so, she's like, I'm your friend. I'm allowing this to go on because there's something deeper here, and that is your guilt that you feel about your son. And it's so apparent because when Sophia gets up and runs off, it's like, okay, you basically just verified what she just said.
Right.
That the guilt that you have for leaving your wife and your son, and leaving them in the position that you have is eating away at you. So I applaud the sister for actually, going there and still befriending somebody who clearly does not want to be your friend, but just wants to take your gyno tabs.
Well, she's a nun. She's
Right.
she
The
has
priest told
mercy.
me.
She has mercy. She has granting grace. Do you think that Sophia would feel as much regret if she wasn't locked up?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, I don't think she would feel as much regret if she was not locked up. Yeah, she
Right.
would not.
Yeah, I don't
Absolutely.
think so either.
No.
right.
I think she'd be out living her life and
She was dressed like Miley Cyrus. You didn't see her in that one episode with her skirt?
that was
She's
funny.
like starting from being a teenager up, so she has to explore. And I think prison life has kind of settled her down a bit. But when we get the flashbacks to the prior episodes, she's a completely different person.
Right.
Yeah.
Even after having the change to now, she seems like she's grown and mature to, as a female versus the prior episodes we saw where she wasn't. She was like a little kid.
Yeah, trying
like
to figure
her
herself
son.
out.
And I think her guilt comes from, I'm sure most parents that are locked up feel bad because they're not there for their children physically. But in addition to that, not only are you not there for your child, he had to live with the shame of her decisions to become a woman. Children don't really understand that. So I think that Sophia has some kind of guilt towards now my son is I feel like I need to make this change, but I not only affected myself, I affected him. Now people are looking at him crazy, or he's not understanding how to process this. So not only did I leave him, but I also changed my gender, which is confusing for him.
And she left him.
Right when all of this
While
was
that was
happening.
happening.
And so he saw that obviously there was credit card fraud. He had the wallet in his hand
Right.
when Sophia got locked up. So I think that's where it comes from. And then the fact that it's like, okay, I feel guilty because I needed to make this change for myself. And that in itself, some people would say is selfish. But at the same time, I've had to take my family through this journey as well. So, I can see where the guilt comes from. There's a lot of guilt there. A lot of layers.
Personally, I think the nun should dish off a couple of gyno tabs. Hook her up. It's like, hey, it's not like the nun is getting any.
No, but that's not why she didn't. Hold on. The reason why she's taking them in the first place is so she doesn't have to deal with, because she's going through menopause. And so, of course, to alleviate some of the pressures that Sophia's going through, that's why she wants them as well. But if she gives her gyno tabs to Sophia, she gonna be feeling the hot flashes and all the stuff that women go through the change of life.
Do you think that Red should have made a like a executive call and said, okay, I usually don't deal with drugs, but like with this situation, instead of offering yams and soy.
Oh, I know, that was
and
funny.
soy,
The yams and soy is the best she could do.
Right. And she just wouldn't budge on it. And she knows the situation.
Yeah.
It's not like she's smuggling heroin or anything like that. It's like it's a medical situation.
Yeah.
I think
But she doesn't have anything to benefit from,
Yeah.
so she
Right.
wouldn't want to go down that road
And
with Sophia.
and have any risk
Right.
for herself, when she's not getting anything.
Because
out
then
of it.
there might also be people who end up coming in later that have an addiction to prescription drugs. So how is that any
Yeah.
different in the sense of it's a drug and I'm not using it to necessarily like I'm using it to make me feel better.
Right.
But it's a legal drug. It's not illegal. So sometimes there's a hairy line that Red may not want to cross. And plus,
she's dealing with other stuff anyway.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I'll pass on this one. I have yams for you, though.
What's so interesting is these girls don't talk to one another, but they go to the one person that you would have never thought they would go to when they need help.
right.
And you're like, how does that work? You don't talk to each other on a regular basis, but you go to, Red and ask to smuggle in prescription drugs, or you go to the nun and try to be friends with her to get her gyno tabs.
I think that's how they know, though. It's like, okay. I mean, it's like high school. Somebody random comes up to you, you're like, what do you want?
What do you want?
Right. So you want something. Let's see what you want. So,
I don't know. Maybe it's a hate-love relationship they all have in there.
right.
Oh yeah.
It's like you get into a fight. It's like kind of like a sibling. You can fight with a sibling, and the next thing you know, you have to get along with them because you have to.
Right.
Kind of thing. It's just the scenario.
But it is
Right.
like that high school thing with the cliques and the groups and
Yeah.
everybody, just gossiping. And
You can't fight forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You have to move forward. The backstory for this week was really interesting. We got into Diane and Aleida's backstory a little bit. And we see even more of what a crappy mom Aleida is. She's
Oh
just
my
like,
God! Yeah.
it's like, really? Does
Right.
this, it was just horrible.
It was.
It was a horrible, horrible experience. Emma had asked me, she was like, do families like this really exist?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes, I told her. She was just like, is this even possible? Like,
Yes.
I mean, they seem like they're only like 5 years apart.
They
to
do
begin
exactly.
with.
They look like sisters.
Right.
It's so crazy.
And she is just left off all the responsibility of the other kids. Daya is obviously much older than the other four children, and she is much more motherly, as you can see, and caring for the kids. And the one kid tells her mom that she flushed the Barbie down the toilet or something like that, and she said, "Don't hit your sister." Like she wants to
cool
show
mom.
she wants to show that she's in charge, but
She doesn't want to do the work that it takes
right, exactly.
to be in charge.
Then she finds out, it's the barber Caesar bought you. Caesar can't. Don't have Caesar. That's money that can go towards me going to dinner.
Yeah, I loved her. She had the best
Oysters.
line. Yeah, I'm having oysters, bitches.
Right.
She did have the best line, I think, of the episode, though. I do have to say.
That,
That's what you say to your kids? Like, really?
Yeah, it's like, you guys, you better order some pizza for them or whatever it was. She said, I'm having
Right.
oysters, bitches.
No, but I'm
who
like,
talks like that to their kids?
Right.
How do I look?
Yeah, right.
I'm having oysters, bitches. What? These kids aren't even like 10 years old.
No, one is like, she's probably like 4. Like, what?
Right.
4 or 5, really?
It's like,
No.
okay.
And I just feel like the one daughter that has the tiara on, that I feel like she's gonna head down the path of her mom.
Right.
She,
Yeah.
in some weird way, admires her, and she's like, I want to have oysters too. And
Well, I
she
kind
looks
of
for the approval from her mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's gonna be like her mom when she grows up.
I felt bad for the mom when she was talking to Diane, telling her, I made wrong choices, but I brought you into this world, and I brought your siblings into this world. Hopefully, you guys can make a change. When she was giving that whole speech a couple of episodes ago, and then seeing this episode, I'm like, I don't feel bad for you at all. This is just a phase you're putting on, so you could
Right.
have, Daya thread your eyebrows. Really, we're family. But you left your kids, and
yeah.
all you care about is Caesar.
Well, and you saw that when the visitation, too. It was like, didn't even care with the kids being there. The
Right.
kid had, what was it, the drawing or...
She said she's like, if you didn't bring it, then why are you talking
Why is
about
it
it?
paper
If I can't
airplane.
see it,
I made a paper airplane.
It's like, if I
Yeah.
can't see it, then, why are you bothering me?
Right.
Yeah, what are you, stupid?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Horrible.
Like, she gets Worst Mom of the Year award.
Right.
A lot of you. What's this actress's name? She's doing a good job.
But do you
Because
guys?
I don't like her.
Yeah, I don't
She's
like her
playing this
either.
character well. I gotta give it to
We'll
her.
look it up. Yeah.
But do you guys think Daya should have gone back and gone intimate with Caesar after
Well, I think the reason why she did. I mean, not knowing the next episodes. The reason why she did was because this man is in your home. He's still doing the stuff that he was doing.
Now that the mom's gone.
Yeah,
Who's
now
the
that-
authority figure.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
and so she still needs money to feed the rest of her siblings. She, you know, because you see earlier when they're in the kitchen and she walks in there, she's like, "I gotta fix something for the baby to eat," and he gives her the money. So she kind of understands, like, okay, mom's no longer here putting out, and that's how we were eating.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do
Somebody's
it.
got to fill in
Unfortunately.
that space now. Yeah, that's how I took it too. It was like you got to.
I'm just wondering if she's Angel because she did the same thing her mom did. She was basically the
I believe so.
Yeah.
leader of the
I don't think she was the leader. I
Yeah.
think because of the home, and I
Well,
think it might
the
have gotten
home
raided
yeah.
or something. And of course, she's the one that's living there, so they automatically pin it on her.
Right.
I think that's probably what happened. That's what I get. What I gather.
yeah.
and she just didn't know
Which
any better.
explains the cold slap that she receives when she
Right.
first gets locked up.
And when
the
her mom-
has the nerve
Yeah.
to you put your family in this predicament to begin with.
Right.
All right.
And then you have the
Yeah.
nerve to, and she's obviously, I don't know how old she is. She's obviously legal because she's
Right.
in the women's, she's not in a juvenile facility. She's in a legal, an adult facility, but still.
I think she's barely like probably over 18. I don't think
Yeah, I would think
that
she's probably
old.
like 19, 20, 21,
Yeah.
somewhere around
Something.
there.
Yeah. Early 20s. So which is funny because in that, you know, bleeds into the issues with her and her mom and Bennett.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my
Let's
god.
talk about this situation with her and Bennett, which is this a survival thing or is she really into Bennett? Like, it's weird. Like, why?
Or
Daya.
Dyer the mom.
I think she is into Bennett
I do
just
too.
because she's never seen that affection. I mean, she's seen it from Caesar, but it's for the wrong reasons. And all the men that have been in her life have been probably her mom's boyfriends or whoever it's been, and it hasn't been genuine love she's seen. So this is someone that she feels it's a high school love. I don't think it's mature, grown up affection. Is just that summer love, you know, you find
Yeah.
right before you're about to go off to
and like the
college.
authority too. Like I took it as like, oh, it's like kind of like the guy there, the one it was like authority figure, and I think that kind of added to that attraction. But yeah, I definitely think it's genuine, and she definitely has something.
But I think she was more of flirting when they began the whole relationship. I don't think she was looking for love. Like her mom said, "Oh, you're good at this, getting
Yeah.
men to fall for you." So Bennett is, I think,
An idiot. Bennett is not a smart guy.
Nah, but
He's just a sweet,
right.
you know,
he's just
maybe
in
a
love.
sweet idiot. He's just, you know.
He looks at life a little different when you get your, you know, when stuff happens to you. And you go off to war. And you look at, you know, life is a little different now. You cherish the little moments, even if it's like a stolen note
Oh my
from the
god.
heart of my lover in prison. Like,
but both of them have issues and self-esteem issues that's perfect for them to be paired up as well.
Right.
You know, we
Yeah.
see her. I'm sure she has, you know, self-esteem issues with her weight and not being always in the shadows of her mom, and we see Bennett and the self-esteem issues he has. So I think it's a good pair.
right. And I just think it's like, what kind of mom does that? You know, what kind of mom wants to ruin her daughter's happiness? Obviously.
Aleida.
Exactly. It's so sad to me, and especially like I think Diana needs to be very careful. You're around here walking around and you're not even noticing that your mom's following you and she sees you doing all this stuff. She sees you
Right.
leaving notes. You know, if she can see you, who else can see you?
Right.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Well, it is. It's like that ticking time bomb where you know that they're going to be caught. You're just wondering when that's going to happen.
Right.
It's not
Yes.
if, it's when.
Right.
And where does this utility closet? Where's the cameras?
I'm like, why do they have
Obvious-
access to this utility
Right,
closet?
no.
Why isn't it locked out?
That's what
all
I'm
the
saying.
time,
Anybody
you know?
can walk in because clearly they
It's
have
open.
been.
Well, we've seen porn stash in there with one of Pensatucky's
Yeah, her followers.
girls.
Yeah.
You know, when they were exchanging the drugs for the pleasure.
Well, here's the thing.
So
I think that
closet is like the famous.
that's the
I'm saying, like, why don't
that's the boom
anybody
boom
know
room.
that?
Yep, the boom boom room, yeah.
It's the boom boom room.
When the lights are off, you don't know when.
The red light special up in there. But here, the thing is, I think there are guards at different posts where there probably aren't cameras. They're the active
true.
surveillance. So obviously, if they're there, they're supposed to be watching that area. where a camera would be.
Right.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Right.
Just figured them having access to it too. Just I guess they would if they're guards, but you would think maybe certain people have access to certain areas, not.
Right. And how would Aleida know, like, Bennett's going to come and it's going to definitely be him? What if it's somebody else? She's in there butt naked, like, boom.
Right.
Okay, you're going to shoe.
Yeah.
She probably,
She probably doesn't
how
care.
Do you know?
She- yeah,
Maybe it
she
was
doesn't-
porn stash.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think she
True.
cares.
Or maybe it would have been, I don't know, one of the female guards. And should have been like, definitely you're going to shoe. Well, never mind, because we don't know.
You
Somebody,
never know, right. She could have stripped for anybody. They might have been like, let's get it cracking.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think she cared.
It didn't matter. She would have just did her thing. I mean, she was already in there. She
Do
was
you
in it to
think
win it.
do you think Aleida and Bennett really did it and he lied to Diaz and said that he didn't?
That's a good question.
I guess we have to find out. That is a really good question. I'm not sure. I thought about that. You guys actually, if you guys know or have an idea of whether Aleida and Bennett actually did it, give us a call, 424-256-1729, 424-256-1729, and you guys can give us your 2 cents about whatever and let us know what you think or correct us about anything or just add to it. Because there's a lot of theory and stuff floating around.
And make sure you go to iTunes and subscribe to our channel, our podcast, I should say. And you can just look for Orange is the New Black on AfterBuzz TV. You can search for that on iTunes. Make sure you rate, you comment, let us know what's going on. And we have a shout out actually on iTunes. ADW0125 said she loves us.
Yay!
And she also said, I think it's a she. I don't know.
ADW125.
Yes.
What's
I don't know if you're
cracking?
a she or he, but she or he said that they feel that I am a friend in their head. I feel like you're my friend in your head too. You're my friend too. I don't know you, but I love you already. So yeah, make sure you give us 5 stars and tell your friends and family to subscribe.
We need to be back on number 1, guys. Number 1.
Definitely.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get back to Piper, who's our central character, and discuss this whole her obsession with finding out whether or not Alex named her,
Right.
which is the reason why she's in there to begin with. Do you think
Go ahead.
this is a loaded situation because somebody being the cause of you know,
Right.
getting locked up, being a snitch or whatever, that's heavy. That's a big deal. So go ahead, Emma. You're about to say something.
Well, I was just gonna say about Larry being upset at Piper for lying to him about Alex being in there, but he turns around and lies to her.
Right.
You know, she was doing it for the same cause. She was doing it not to hurt him, and because they have a history, and she doesn't want him to think that there's anything going on. But you just lied to her, and you probably set something off that you don't know.
Right.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say about that. I'm going to say that I believe him lying to her served a greater purpose than her lying to him. Because...
Still lying.
You're right.
Right.
It is. It is still lying. But the fact that he's in a relationship that's 10 years... You know, the relationship they were in was 10 years removed. That was 10 years before. And they're engaged or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't feel fear that they're going to start up a romance while they're in prison, especially if this chick is the one that snitched you out. I wouldn't think that I wouldn't logically process it that she would automatically start something up with her romantically. Again, I just wouldn't.
And I don't think, but I think initially that wasn't his issue. I think he was more so concerned with the fact that she lied to him. I think Piper was the one that actually felt like I don't want you to think that I'm going to do something with her. And he, you know, if you decide to marry somebody, then you trust them no matter where they're at. So I think that was Piper thinking he would feel like that. And in turn, it's, you know,
that's what I meant. That's what I meant, actually. I meant that she shouldn't feel that he would think that.
Right.
Especially if they made this commitment. It was a decade before. And she knows that she knows that he should understand that she would be pissed because Alex named her,
right,
which is the reason she's in there.
Right.
So I don't think that Piper should have rationalized it like that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I don't think even when he gets the information from his father, which I can understand, his father tried to give him halfway decent information by saying you shouldn't, you know, mess with, just let her do her time. Don't get caught up in the fishbowl of prison. Don't tell her that Alex named her. I think that was, you know, he should have stuck to his guns, and he should have said, like, just like when he told his dad, he's like, no, we don't lie to each other. He should have stuck to that, because now she's feeling bad. She's like, I need to apologize, you know. And what is...
Plus, Piper still ended up telling the truth and telling him that Alex is in there. He just completely lied about the situation.
Right.
Her not saying it on the spot and saying it, you know, later, because she was being picked at. Everyone kept on making comments about, you know, her being, you know, liking girls, and he kept on making fun of her for, or teasing her about making comments about Alex and how their relationship was. So she just probably needed time to process and then tell him, but he just lies to her.
Right.
Yeah, and I just don't get
And
it.
it's so crucial because she asked him specifically because it was so important to her. Can you please have your dad look at this? And it's sealed records.
Right.
So if it's sealed and you end up finding out and still not telling her, I think
He should have told. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. He should have told her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't get the reason why. I'm. It's just hard for me to understand what the benefit was for the lying. Really, I
think because he
Well,
really felt...
his dad convinced him that basically, look, it is a fishbowl in there, and if you tell her, all you're gonna do is fuel her anger, and it might set off something that might get her more time or
Right.
something like that.
Okay.
And he's as an attorney, his dad is an attorney, right?
Right,
So he's
yeah.
thinking of it like from a logical standpoint. Like if something goes wrong and she gets pissed off and does something in a retaliation sense, then she can get more time.
Right.
She'll be stuck in there, whatever, blah blah blah. So just don't tell her. Let her do her time and let her get out.
Okay.
And I
That's
think-
his thing,
and
which
that's
is
the thing.
logical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's logical. I mean, when you're looking at it
it's
that way.
logical if you're a
But-
criminal, but it's Piper. Really? She doesn't know how to handle anything in there. She's already told Larry about the fights, about, you know, Red and,
Okay, well,
you know, not getting food, and she didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
But she's-
here's the thing. She's dealing with those are elements that are foreign to her. Alex, she's very familiar with. So that to her is not a criminal. She's not dealing with a criminal type of element as far as Alex is concerned. That was her girlfriend. They dated. They were together for a long time.
There's a history. That's
They
the
have a
reason why
history.
she's there.
Exactly. Whenever it has to do with her and Alex,
is-
the rest of their environment really doesn't matter.
And I think if he was going to lie, what he should have said was, I don't know. My dad couldn't open the records. I can't tell you. That's what he should have
Well,
said.
see,
if
that's
he
what I was
gonna
thinking.
lie.
Like, just not even tell her.
Right.
Just let it go. That's why
And
I didn't say the lie.
I think he
does
knows
anything.
Lie
Piper.
and say he just didn't know, period.
Right.
That would have been the best thing.
Right.
He knows her well enough to know how she is and what her personality is, that she likes to be nice to people. I mean, she went out of her way to make medicine for Red just to, you know, get on her good side. But now you're telling her that
Wait a minute.
That was being nice. That was
survival. Because she had to eat.
she could have went down a different route, but you know, I'm just giving
No,
you
you're
an
saying she
extreme.
did- she
I'm
did-
just giving you an extreme, you know,
Yeah.
case, and knowing that now Alex didn't name her and she has to be in there with her. Don't you think that? You know, Larry, doesn't he think that now all of a sudden her opinion is going to change? She was being mean to her. She's saying she hates her.
Yeah.
That
But
was
now
my
she-
thing too. That's why I
Right.
thought it seemed weird that he would say that, because now it makes it feel like now she's going to feel more pleasant
Right.
towards Alex, and then that changes that dynamic. That's why I didn't see how that was best
Because-
served for him.
Yeah, she's in there for her own actions, and now that she knows, oh, Alex didn't name me, it's like, oh, you know, now I feel bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
When Polly and Larry went to go visit her, though, do you feel like she was? I mean, that Larry talking to Polly about
Needing money.
needing money, like we needed that money,
you don't
and
even
I
pay
quit my
rent.
job for this, and blah blah blah. It just kind of seems like, are you serious? Like this lady is, you know, her best friend, instead of getting a dog, got pregnant and rearranged her life to a certain degree. I just feel like they're being kind of selfish. That's just me personally.
I agree with you, but I think when you're in that situation, all you have is hope, and all you have is to look forward to tomorrow, and then tomorrow after that, and tomorrow after that, when you finally get out. So for her, it's like, if you try to tell me like I don't matter in this equation when it comes to our business, when it comes to our life, then what am I gonna have to look forward to in here? Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I might as well just stay here then.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
how I took it too. It's like that's all she has, and so
Right.
she like yearns to have any part of that normalcy, of that life that she had.
Right.
Anything she can kind of grasp at.
So let's set up the conference call then. We set up the conference call.
Yeah.
And
To Barney's. To Byron Barney's.
To Byron Barney's. And she's like, she figures out, she comes up with this master plan that, look, you call me, and then you call the person from your phone, and we do the
Right.
conference call like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's smart.
Yeah, she's smart, and then
Kind
Polly
of.
calls kind of.
Kind of.
And she, you know,
An iPhone. No.
right. The notorious conference
What's the
call
call?
is about to happen. Polly's like, how do I do this? She's like, I don't know. It's your phone.
I'm sorry, Polly. That is an iPhone where it clearly
That's what I
says
said.
merge.
Exactly. That's what I said. It's easy to do that.
Right.
She's pregnant. Cut her some
You don't
slack.
become stupid when you're pregnant. Okay, maybe you get pregnancy
pregnancy brain.
but it literally says merge, like right on it. Add has a plus sign. This says merge. So I'm sorry. They should have gave her a flip phone or something that would have made more sense. Like, oh, maybe that's why she can't get it. I'm saying. Sorry.
No, I thought the same thing too, though. I did, yes. Because that's what I was saying. I was like, hello, it's on an iPhone. It takes 2 seconds to
I
do
didn't know
that.
she was on an iPhone. But,
Oh, yes. That's the first thing I noticed.
If I figured she had a smartphone, if it was like a smartphone, it's like it's easy. It's pretty easy to
Right.
to merge. Like, how does she not know how to?
I
merge
mean,
a
the
call?
only thing I thought was because it was the, like a collect call type thing with the prison phone. That's the only thing I thought of is maybe there's some, it's hard to, I don't know. That was the only thing I thought of. That might have made it difficult. It was something to do with calling in with the collect call of the
Right.
prison system. But
yeah.
And then we see the chicken.
And then the mysterious chicken comes out. I'm like, she's losing her mind.
She is.
How do you leave your Barneys?
Right.
yeah, and that
Conference
became more
call.
important now. The chicken became more important than the conference
So
call.
that was actually
shift.
the turning. It's a shift. You're right, Scott. That was the shift from her outside life not being as relevant as her actual
Right.
present scenario. Like that was the takeover right there.
Now
like
she's
this,
an inmate.
this is what I have to.
She's a real
to deal
inmate
with.
now.
This is the life. This is my life kind of thing. These are the important things now in my life.
Right, exactly. So,
would-
go ahead.
I would have liked to see Crazy Eyes continue the conversation and take
I
over
know.
the call.
Dandelion's
and-
not here right now.
Chasing the chicken.
Yeah, man's chasing the chicken. Actually, when Piper met with Healy, that's when my favorite quote of the episode popped up. When Healy was talking to her and saying like, "Look, this chicken thing is like, I don't care if you really saw a chicken, you just can't have." He's basically telling her she has to recant her whole claim that she's seen the chicken, and he's basically saying the chicken is like global warming or female ejaculation.
That's right.
I was like, oh no, he
And then she was
went
like,
there.
and then of course he's trying to feed that out of her, and she was like, yeah, what do you mean? Like it's true. The chicken part.
Right.
Like, she had to catch herself. Like, which part of that is true?
Global warming
Yeah.
or female ejaculation, Healy.
Yeah,
that was my
great.
quote. That was my quote of the episode because I was just like, how did he jump from global warming? He said it's a myth, like global warming for female ejaculation. What? I was like, what? Did he
I'm
just say
saying
that?
he is so obsessed.
Dude, he is funny. He's got some suppressed sexual
Something is not right with that Healy. I
Yep.
tell you.
something
Oh, yeah.
going on with him. Do we cover everything for this episode before we jump into the next one?
I believe so.
The yoga scene
oh yes.
Oh, that's right.
when they have to share the yoga room and the AA meeting.
Right. That's because they had to take their AA meeting from the chapel because it was
chapel was being
destroyed,
fixed.
and they had to go into the yoga room and share the yoga space. But that just gives more fodder to Alex and
Yeah.
Piper's situation, their
And
scenario.
also Nikki's scene with the being in the hospital with her
Oh, her mother.
her mother.
Yes, we got a little backstory with that
Yes.
too.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's episode 5, right? Yes.
Is that 5 or is that 6?
No, 6.
We're sneaking ahead.
Yes, you guys are
Tease.
sneaking ahead. Tease. Okay,
talk about it.
let's just jump in the news and gossip before we go all the way into episode 6.
Okay, so on TVGuide.com, there's a new interview with Pablo Schreiber, who plays Pornstache, our favorite character. And so he says a couple of things. He says, this is some spoilers for us.
Oh,
So if you haven't
okay.
watched
I'm like,
everything, there's some
Spoiler alert,
spoilers.
spoiler alert.
I know it
Pretty much.
sucks. I was really mad. But apparently, Pornstache has sexual relations with Diaz in later episodes. Can you believe that? She's
Oh my
such a whore. I'm so mad. But yeah,
Apple
so,
doesn't fall far from the tree.
right. So what Pablo Schreiber says about Pornstache, he says that he really does believe that the character is in love with Diaz. It's not just, one of those inmates. He's like, no, I believe that he really is in love with Diaz, and that the reason is because nobody ever gives him attention. So when they do, he's all in. He's completely all into her.
Right.
And so then we find out again that, even though they had relations with a condom, she apparently is not feeling so well. And so he goes on to say it could be the flu or it could be pregnancy. So, he said we'll have to wait for season 2. I'm like, the flu, really,
Oh
Pablo
my
Schreiber?
gosh.
So, and then the other part is, he said that his accent, he's from the South, so it hasn't been assigned to him by Genji Cohen, who created this show.
Right.
It hasn't been assigned to him where he's from, but he says in order to get into his character, he believes Porn Stash is somewhere from Texas. Shout out to the Texans out there. Porn Stash is from your state, apparently.
That's hilarious.
Be proud.
You know what? And you guys, the Texans, you guys comment or you call in. You're right. If you guys don't want to claim Porn Stash, we completely understand. It's fine. So yeah, I mean, we kind of got into some predictions. Let's go into predictions. With
We don't have any predictions.
we don't have any predictions
No,
with
no
Scott and
predictions.
Megan.
No, but what
Not
you
yet.
can do is you can always go to AfterBuzzTV.com and watch us there. You can also go to SerialBuddies.com and download the movies Adventures of Serial Buddies because that supports us right here at
Yes, it
AfterBuzz
does.
TV, and we can keep on giving you this great programming. Again, that's Adventures of Serial Buddies at SerialBuddies.com.
And it's only $4.99 to rent and $5.99 to own.
$5.99.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us in this episode 5 of Orange is the New Black. Until next episode, where can we find you guys?
Always, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Make Scoop, like scoop of ice cream.
And you can find me on Twitter at SMan80, that's SMAN80, and for the season finale of True Blood tonight.
Woohoo.
Here.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at RealMcKay.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Club Thaddeus, CLUBTHADDEUS. Until next time, After Buzzers.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.